The Project Tribute Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to aiding our nation's first responders. Our vision and mission is to enhance the life-saving capabilities of our first responders through raising awareness and funding for the life-saving work that they do. Our goal with the podcast is to be an educational avenue and a method for our heroes to express themselves. In the podcast, we will discuss various tough subjects. Some of the subjects may be uncomfortable or controversial. Our guests have the right to share their thoughts and ideas, and for our listeners to hear the unedited words of our guests. The Foundation's role is to showcase a diverse array of thoughts and opinions within the first responder community. If you hear something that you do not agree with, please consider reaching out to us at projecttributefoundation@gmail.com and join our podcast. If you're a first responder and you would like to share your story, we truly would love to hear from you and learn from your experiences. Please enjoy this week's show, and as always, like, comment, and share to help us grow. You can find more information at www.projecttribute.com. Thanks and have a great one.
Hello, this is James again with Project Tribute Podcast. We have a special guest with us today.
I'm John Wayne. I'm a firefighter, EMT.
Awesome. Okay. I think we had talked about before that you do one full-time and one part-time, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So full-time, and then part-time on my days off, I volunteer for a local rural volunteer fire department.
Man, that's quite a lot. All that stuff doesn't wear you down doing those two different things.
Oh, it can definitely get tiring. When you sleep with a pager 365 days a year that can go off at any moment.
Oh my goodness.
It's definitely tiring.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so I bet there's quite a few so the agencies that we work for are pretty familiar with how small the town is, how small the towns around us are.
Right.
There may be some people listening that probably don't have a rural fire department near them or something like that because they live in a major city or they live in a bigger metropolitan area. What exactly is like a rural fire department?
Well, you'll find a lot of rural fire departments just in your smaller communities that aren't heavy tax based, that have a lot of income that come into them to provide fire suppression for that area. So you get guys like myself and my fellow firefighters that have full-time day jobs, and then we volunteer to work when the pager goes off if you're available. It's one of those deals where it falls to your level of dedication to what you signed up to do, as far as getting up out of bed and responding to an emergency in your area.
Yeah. So I think I heard about the rural emergency service deal that they have. The first thing I thought is, oh, you guys don't get paid for this?
Right. No, there's no compensation, and we do it to help our community.
Is there any kind, obviously the benefit being you love to serve, you love to help people out. That's admirable. I think that's why any one of us the main reason why any of us got into the first responder field of any kind of first responder job. Access to a specific credit union, tax break, anything of that nature? Or is it strictly just because you want to do it?
There are some benefits. So the agency that I'm affiliated with, we're in the pension system, just like the career guys.
Yeah.
It's a little different. Obviously, it's not as much, but our agency pays for a pension. And
That's
then
cool.
if you put in 20 years or 25 years or whatever, you get a retirement check.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not a lot, but it's
at least something.
It's something. And then also along with that, every year, if you meet a certain level of training hours, that you get a tax credit on your state income taxes.
Oh wow, that's awesome. How do you guys train? Do you guys have to pay for training out of your own pocket, or does the smaller rural area that you work for, do they help with anything like that? Or
So we have an allotted training, but send you through classes. Then
Okay.
there's grants that you can get training. One called that most people are familiar with is called the Safer Grant,
Okay.
where they provide Firefighter 1 classes.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then once you complete that class, it's 100% paid for by the grant. But when you complete that class, they buy you a set of gear for your agency.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Did that's really awesome to know. Did company, as far as like getting help with grants or anything like that?
They have came up to our agency and actually provided us with Stop the Bleed kits
Oh, perfect. Okay.
for each individual member of our agency. We all have our own Stop the Bleed kit that we can carry in our vehicles.
That's
That way,
awesome.
if we come up on something and need something to stop the bleed,
Mhm.
at least we have something in our possession and that we can keep in our personal vehicles.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. A rule.
Oh man. So I graduated high school in 2008,
Mhm.
and whenever I graduated, I wasn't 18 yet.
Mhm.
And so a few months later, whenever I turned 18, I went to a local volunteer fire department where I grew up and said, I want to join.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
And put my application in, started in the fire service, and then I've worked in volunteer fire since August of 2008. I'm doing it a minute.
Yeah. What kind of training have you gotten from there? So are you like, and maybe in a police officer, I don't know exactly how the firefighter training rankings work. I was like firefighter 1, firefighter 2, stuff like that.
Right.
What level have you obtained now that you've been doing it for so long?
Man, I've got a little bit of variety of training. I've focused here recently more on the EMS side
Gotcha.
of training. But I've got structural firefighting, wildland classes.
You're like, I got so many.
There's a whole variety of things on, that we get access to. And
Yeah.
a lot of training that OSU FST puts on.
Oklahoma State University.
Fire service training.
Okay, cool.
They're like the state's leader in training.
Really?
They
Okay.
put together a lot of classes that are free to volunteer firefighters.
Wow.
So
That's nice.
Or low cost.
Yeah. To kind of help out those other agencies.
Right.
And stuff. What kind of things do you deal? Like I said, I've always lived in a big city, so when I moved to this area, the idea of rural emergency services where you don't necessarily get paid and stuff like that was pretty new to me, a new concept. What kind of things do you guys deal with at the part-time that you have? The first thing that usually comes to my mind, and I feel like would come to a lot of people's minds, is grass fires, brush fires, things like that.
All medical emergencies in our community. We do grass fires, structure fires.
Is that the whole county or just your area?
So
Like your side of the county?
we have our service area.
Okay.
And then we also do mutual and automatic aid with surrounding agencies.
Okay.
And we go into surrounding counties.
Oh, counties too. Cool.
Yeah, just wherever, we put a limit of how far we can go.
For sure. You don't want to put too much strain on your own equipment. Yeah.
Well, the name on it.
Yeah.
That our primary goal is to protect, service that area.
Yeah.
Now we will go other places and help, not without any hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
I've been as far as Woodward, Oklahoma.
Where is that? Where on earth is that
at? Woodward is on the complete opposite side of the state from here.
By the Texas border or
yeah,
what state?
it's over had a big fire out there that
How
was
big?
consuming 300,000 acres.
Oh my goodness gracious me!
We spent a few days out there
Yeah.
on a task force
Wow.
to help them guys out there. So
How long ago was that?
It was 2017, I want to say.
Wow, that is a huge fire.
Yeah, it was.
Did you have agencies from Texas coming and helping too?
There was
People all
agencies,
over. I bet.
yeah, Oklahoma, the Forestry Service, you name it.
Good God.
There was all over the state. So generally, county by county, and that's the thing is, so we're volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're leaving our day jobs, taking vacation or whatever to leave to go do this.
Oh yeah.
But we'll put together a task force from all the agencies in your county,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody will say, we'll put together a big group text with all the leaders of all the agencies.
Yeah.
Hey, we're looking at going and assisting with such and such fire.
Mm-hmm.
What's your availability?
Yeah.
So when you get on a large scale incident like that,
There's like a command center.
Yes, there's a command post. One guy's in charge of the whole thing, and then this guy's in charge of this part. This guy's in charge of this part.
Gotcha.
And then
you probably have to be pretty quick to set that up too.
Yeah.
Like you probably already have it figured out as you're going there. Like, hey, when we get on scene, this is your job. This is your job. This is your job. So you're not twiddling fingers up there. Yeah.
Right. So,
man.
But primarily, our goal is to focus on our community and our citizens. And then we'll put is anybody available or can or want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be like, all right, we can spare a brush truck and 2 guys. Okay. And then they'll meet at a central location.
You guys will like convoy to
and everybody convoys to the fire.
Awesome.
And and that's where your ICS incident command stuff comes in.
Okay.
Because is that
like a
there
different
on
branch of training that you can get?
Yes.
Okay.
ICS incident command system.
Mm-hmm.
Rural fire dues.
Fire dues.
Yeah. So
explain that to me because I have no idea.
And actually,
I'm a city guy. Sorry, Dad.
I actually started and going to get them done here in the next couple of weeks, but we send out a subscription.
Okay.
And for X amount of dollars. And so
is this a month, a week, a year?
It's a yearly deal.
Okay.
And so they send their check for however much your fire or you need the fire department. That's our funding to be able to come to you.
Okay.
We'll respond whether you pay your dues or
of
not.
Course.
We're coming.
Of
course. If the pager goes off, we're going.
Yeah.
But if people didn't pay their fire dues in the rural areas, then your fire department doesn't have any money coming in.
Exactly.
Because we're not a profit agency.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have a tax base to support,
a
lot. So they email us checks for our services. The firefighters see no money of that. That's to buy fuel, tires, equipment, gear.
Oh yeah.
And all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because you guys have to keep track with all that stuff. Because if it's not, if something's wore down, I mean, you have to get new equipment. If you don't, it could not only could you not be able to do your job properly, but it could put your firemen in danger as well. So, yeah, I'm sure all that money gets spent.
Right. Well, I mean, if you look at the gear that we wear,
was it bunker gear?
Yeah.
Right?
Bunker Protection Agency, they put a standard on that gear, and it has to meet the gear has to meet a certain standard, and they say that your gear is only good for 10 years.
So, is that including like going to a certain amount of fire calls and stuff, or just like on a broad, like whether you use it a lot or not, 10 years is
10
the
years,
standard?
it's done.
Okay, gotcha.
So you can buy a brand new set of bunker gear, put it in a closet, and 10 years later,
it's not rated
technically
properly.
It is not rated to do the job that it was designed to do.
Like a flame retardant, right? And it provides you protection from heat.
Yes.
Is the
They'll have-
primary. Obviously, it probably does more, but that's the primary focus
Right.
of it. The defense. Okay. Now, does that include the respirator and all that stuff too?
Yes, everything in the fire service has a shelf life
Gotcha.
of what it's allowed. You know, if you wear something that is not up to snuff and up to par,
Mm-hmm.
and you get hurt, and then the first thing anybody's going to look at is,
Okay, well, was your equipment?
was your equipment up to par?
Yeah.
So then that stuff's very expensive. So
Oh, yeah, I bet.
we take that stuff and we take that money, and that's what we like to try and buy, because I want my guys in.
We want them to be safe.
Right. I want them to be safe. I want them to have good gear.
Yeah. I mean, the job's inherently dangerous. You don't want to add extra danger to that job by cheaping out on equipment and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And I know penny pinching is just part of human nature. You know,
Yeah.
you always
Oh,
want to
yeah.
try to cut costs and stuff. But when because
Right.
you could have a guy go down or something like that, and now you have to expend more resources to protect that guy when he wouldn't have even gone down maybe in the first place if the gear was up to snuff.
Right.
Right. So, man, that is super interesting though. What for anybody out there that may think now, hey, that sounds kind of cool. You know, I want to be a firefighter, but it'd be cool to start out at a volunteer service, get some experience, and then go to a, maybe like a full-time fire agency. How could somebody go through the process of signing up?
Apartment, the community that you live in. Typically, I know I can speak for my agency. You'll find guys in and out of there all day, every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we're volunteers, we have full-time jobs. We're not there at the station 24 hours a day.
Of course.
But if you see some vehicles parked outside, walk in. Hey, I'm interested.
Yeah.
We'll get you an application. Talk about it. Go through. We can show you what we got. What we, and kind of explain what we do on a regular basis. Probably, I would say 80% or better medical calls.
Yeah.
So everybody sees the fire truck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're going to go fight the fire. Well,
no.
just because you see a fire truck going down the road running lights and sirens doesn't necessarily mean that there's something on fire.
Absolutely.
Because we respond to a variety of incidents.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I learned that lesson when I first started being a cop. I'd see them go, and I'd see them pull out with their lights on and stuff. I'd look on my screen like, why is the fire truck going to? I had no idea that firefighters go to so many medical calls.
Yes.
Like, it's insane. So most of the time you have an ambulance, one or two ambulances, and a fire truck.
Right.
And I had no idea of
well,
that. I thought
it
was strictly fires and things of that nature that firefighters responded to for
right.
the longest time.
Right. And that's a common misconception that people that aren't in the business, in the first response business.
Yeah.
They don't realize that. They just see the fire truck. It says fire truck on it.
So there must be a fire.
Yeah. So they assume there's got to be a fire.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, it's super interesting. I think the public might have learned something. I'm willing to bet that they did, especially when it comes to rural fire. If somebody's living in a bigger city, like I said, they may not have a rural fire department. They're just used to their municipality's fire department being around. So that's really cool that there are agencies like that that can still provide service to that you do that along with your full-time job. So we're going to cut this segment now, though. I do want to thank John for coming again and being a special guest. This is James Wathen with Project Tribute Podcast, and we're going to be signing off. Thank you very much for listening.
This podcast is hosted by the Project Tribute Foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to aiding our first responders. Thank you for listening. For more information on our efforts, check us out at www.projecttribute.com. If you're a first responder that would like to share your story, contact us at projecttributefoundation@gmail.com. You can find us on various social media and podcast sites by searching the Project Tribute Foundation. 100% of donations are used to save lives, while our retail store pays for any of our operational costs. Thank you again, and please be sure to like us, follow us, and share our foundation with your friends. Thank you and have a great day.